everyone, and welcome to the OK Den Show. You are here with us one more again. I am Titia Owens, the Madre.
Hey y'all, I'm Chyna Elizabeth, the daughter. Welcome back to the show.
Yes, we are so elated today. We have this outstanding, phenomenal, fashion-rific, runway amazing young man with us here today, and we are so excited to have him. He is a longtime friend and is known around the world in So without further ado, let's all give it up for my boy Willie Johnson III. Woo!
Yeah.
So Willie, you are here on the OK Den Show. We're so excited to have you.
Okay then, I'm so excited.
So Willie, we're gonna jump right in. So we wanted Willie to come on because he has so much wisdom in the world of fashion. Not only wisdom, but he's a great friend, and there's just a lot of things that I've learned from him over the years. So I wanted you all to become aware of this young man. If you haven't met him already, he is, like I said, known to the stars. He's known near and far. But I wanted you all to have a personal interaction with him today. So we're going to start off, Willie, just kind of giving us a little bit of history on you. Like, where were you born and raised?
All right. I am a native Oak Cliffian. I was born in Oak. I'm born in Dallas, Texas. What? We are not together. No, I'm born in Dallas, Texas. Native of Dallas. Been in fashion pretty much all my life.
Okay.
You know, got in the business in 1979.
Why? Why did you get in the business in 1979?
My mom saw an audition. It was something on the radio or something, and she literally took me there and was like, "We're gonna do this audition." And I just kind of grew up doing it. I've always been into fashion. My aunt was one of my very first introductions to a wardrobe stylist. She was one of the first African Americans to be hired at Neiman's. And so I used to watch her shop for people, and you know, she broke so many records there, and so she inspired me to get into the styling. And then I modeled in the 80s and 90s and got behind the scenes in 1998.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So your mom, she was the one that initially started you in this process. So tell me about that relationship with you and your mom.
Oh, my mother, that was, I could say that was my homegirl.
Your homegirl.
My homegirl. But she was also a mama. She'll tell me, I ain't one of your little friends. That was her word.
But
Don't forget.
Now me and my mom had an amazing relationship. One thing I loved about her, because I have, you know, some of my friends didn't experience this. My mother was extremely supportive. She was one of those mothers that no matter what I said I wanted to do, she was gonna support it. And she was big on entrepreneurship. She didn't, you know, she didn't have me do, you know, you have to go to work, you have to go to school, you have to get this degree. I've always been entrepreneurial. I started my first business when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
I was grooming dogs.
Oh, wow.
I know that's right, to the dogs.
Yes. And when I told my mom I wanted to be a dog groomer, the first thing she did was she was my financial backer. She went and bought me the equipment, all the books on dog grooming.
That's wonderful.
I was 14, charging $25 a dog. You know, grooming about 6 or 7 dogs a week in 1989. So, you know, that was some money.
So what happened to that ministry? Because you stopped it.
I got tired of it. I don't really know what happened. Because I really actually I had a real live clientele.
Okay.
Like weekly, I was getting weekly dogs. Yeah, every week I had to go groom dogs. And my mother took me out an ad in the paper, and she was taking me everywhere. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And she's always been supportive. When I used to play the piano.
Oh, wow.
When I told my mother, I was like, I like playing the piano, Mama. I was 9. I came home one day and there was this big piano in the living room.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, half the keys didn't work, but it was a start.
I love it.
I was like, Mama, where you get this piano from? She was like, okay, it was out. No tune. It was just to play.
That's hilarious.
She just literally was like, well, you say you want to play the piano, here you go. So let's get started.
Yeah.
I love that.
So she was very supportive. So I was never restricted on anything.
Okay.
Fashion just happened to be my main love.
All right. And so when you first started in the fashion industry, tell me what that was like. What was the beginning like? What was some of your first wake-up calls? That whole thing.
It's a lot. When I first started in the fashion industry, I was, doing runway shows. I was modeling, doing print work. my career was decent. I wasn't like a big time supermodel. I think God had me learn enough so he can get me in the background to teach other people.
Okay.
And so I did work, but my main intro to fashion to me was when I used to work at Kenneth Cole back in the 90s,
back in the
98, 99, yes.
Okay.
And it's a lady, to this day, I always tell everyone, she made me. Her name was Lisa Perry.
All right.
She was Lisa Johnson at the time. She had a hair salon in Deep
I know
Ellum.
Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Shout out to Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. So I already knew who she was. So I remember being 18. She would have all these beautiful, like, elaborate hair shows. And I remember going to one hair show, and I said, I'm going to know this lady one day. And my friend said, yeah, you are. And 5 years later, she walked into Kenneth Cole. I sold her a pair of boots.
Wow.
And I gave her wardrobe ideas. And she literally called me right back at the store, asked me to meet her for lunch, and asked me, have you ever thought about producing a fashion show?
Wow.
And at the time, I didn't know. I was like, well, no, I've always just wanted to be a model. And so we went over the show and everything, and that's how I got my start. I produced my very first show with her.
Wow.
In 1998, August of 98.
How did that go? How was that first show?
You know what? It was amazing. That's when the passion hit me, because you know, all these years I thought I wanted to be a model. I did that, you know, but then that night I did the show. Of course, it's my first show. I know what I was doing. My best friend at the time, his name is Quincy. He's in Atlanta now. You know, when you start a business, you always get your best friend as your assistant.
Yeah,
hey, Quincy. So it was me and him. We did the show. It's a big hair show. I styled everybody. I guess it was one of those things. I always say it's a lot of things when you're in your assignment just fall into place.
Yes.
Because, you know, we didn't have internet back then. There was no computers. I was going into stores with a press packet, giving them to the managers, talking to them, hoping they would say yes. And sure enough, everybody said yes.
Wow.
So that night of the show, I still remember looking at the ceiling. It was after midnight because it was me and Quincy. You know, I didn't have no staff and nothing. You know, I was just feeling my way around what I was doing. And so as I'm putting clothes in boxes, I just remember looking up at the ceiling going, okay, God, I'm going to do this every day for the rest of my life. Wow. This is where I'm going to be. I'm here now. This is where I want to be. This is where I need you to take me.
Wow.
And literally, that's how the fashion show production, I was a wardrobe stylist too for years as well. I was actually more of a stylist and producer before I even got into talent management.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got started.
Wow. So when you think about the beginning, when you first started doing fashion shows and producing them, how did you learn the process? I know the first time you said you really didn't know what you were doing. So what did you start doing after that show? Did you say, I'm going to start following some other people that are doing this? I'm going to research some things. Like, what was your process?
Well, my process was, you know, I just also, when I was working at the mall at Kenneth Cole, I started really engulfing myself in that company.
Okay.
I always say I think that company raised me because I worked there for 7 years.
Okay.
And so I started looking at all the fashion shows they were playing on the monitors. Every time the season was done, instead of them sending them back to New York, my manager at the time, she would let me take the shows home. You know, we didn't have DVDs, VCRs at the time.
Okay, then.
Yes. And then my VCRs. And my aunt was still working at Neiman's. So she gave me a couple of like shows from Prada. So I just started watching shows, and then I had another mentor. He's deceased now. His name was Isaac Birdlong. I was a teen model with him.
Isaac.
So I was doing his fashion shows when I was like 16 and 17 because he actually taught me how to walk.
Oh, wow.
So I remember him and who's the other guy that I can't even think of the dude's name. Oh my God! And it's gonna bother me.
That's okay. Him.
Yeah.
So Sebastian. That was it. Sebastian. Hey, Sebastian. So I started just watching the shows. And then I just had to learn because honestly, I had a great support system with Kenneth Cole and a great support system, but it was that other side of this industry that did not want to give me an opportunity. So I had like a small support system, but I had a lot of people that didn't want to work with me or help me. Okay. And they would let it be known.
And what would that look like? People that wanted it known that they didn't want to help you. What did that look like? And I'm just speaking to the person that's watching the show that may be asking, I've had that same experience, and they want to know how you dealt with it. So tell us what that looked like.
You know, I hate to say it, but racism is very alive and well in the industry. So when I first would start, I would walk into stores, introduce myself.
Yeah.
Because once I got outside of my, outside of the mall where everybody knew me as the Kenneth Cole boy, I had to go where no one knew me. So I would go in stores and I would let them know my name. I'm Willie Johnson. I'm a show producer, wardrobe stylist. We're working on this. And sometimes they would stop me at the door before I would get it out.
Oh, wow.
We don't want the wrong people in our clothes. We're very big on marketing, so we know that your event is not something we can be a part of.
Wow.
So I actually set a standard for myself because I was getting all these no's. And then I had one big no. I actually cried. I remember that man made me cry in his store. He told me to get out because I was always trying to pull from him. It was crazy. He was a black dude.
Wow.
He just said, no one's going to work with you. Don't come in my store asking for anything else. And so I literally went on the side of the building. I kind of cried. And I was hurt. And so I, got it all out. Got my human side out.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, so this will be the first and last time I'm denied. Whatever I have to do to keep myself from being denied, it'll never happen. I'll never be made to feel less than anything anymore when I know that this is my assignment. So I started, like I set a crazy standard for myself. I started making sure I was on time in everything I did. I started working on like how I approach people, how I talk to people, and working, retail in North Park Mall. You have to have a level of polishness. I went to SOC. I'm a SOC boy. Marcellus and Overton.
In the building.
So I'm quick to be like, hey, you got this in 11. Nah, we ain't got no 11. But I had to learn how to, carry myself and be demure,
Be demure.
And then,
Hashtag demure. That's the word of the day.
And the one thing about Lisa that I love is we're still in touch to this day.
Yeah.
Her and her husband taught me how to really have a business in this. And so they taught me how to talk to people, what to say, when I'm speaking in these rooms, how to be accepted, how to maneuver.
Yes,
so they
wonderful.
actually taught me a lot about that corporate business side of it. And so I just started setting standards for myself. I knew what they would think about me. I remember wanting to produce a show one time, and when I showed up and got introduced as a person that was handling all the models, the first thing they said was, will they be tattoo girls with gold teeth? Like, are they going to be
Are you serious?
Oh, wow.
You'd be amazed at what people have told me in my career.
Wow.
That's insane.
Even down to giving me backhanded compliments. They would say, this show is actually great. Or, you started on time, surprisingly. They would always say surprisingly, because they were surprised that I was doing something.
Yes.
And I knew what was against me, so being that I knew what I had up against me, I said, okay, I'm going to make sure that I can be as competitive and comparable to my counterparts that were already successful, the hierarchy in the industry. So I, I was scouting models. If you had to look like a model in order to work with me. I was teaching people how to walk. I just did not let anybody on my runway, especially back then. Like, you just couldn't come to me and say, oh, I want to be in your show. I'm like, no. Wrong height, wrong size, wrong this, wrong that. And so people actually, some people it was turned off by, oh, well, you only work with this type of person. I'm like, well, yeah, I do.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Because, you'll tell us to do it, and then when we finally try to let a person in to be friendly and inclusive, the first thing you say is, he ain't even have no real models in that show. So
you wanted to make sure you were legitimate.
Looks professional.
I did. And so that's how I did it. And so I wasn't really fortunate to go to college for fashion.
Yeah.
I did work with one big fashion designer when I was 18. I was like the second assistant, and it was like that episode, Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
I really experienced that.
Yeah.
And so I just had
a lot
to
of humility
learn.
happening.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yes. This is why I act the way I am now, because I knew how hard I had to work, how hard I had it. Down to stores not trying to work with me, stores trying to it was crazy. I had one store, when I returned everything, she created a new receipt and added some items on there to make it look like I did return clothes. But what I do is I always have what I call a piece count. I will make the store manager sign off on stuff, so I still had my original receipt with her signature on there. And she, couldn't say nothing, because she thought that, this little young boy is not going to do nothing,
Wow. So again, controversy, and you were one that had to overcome different kinds of, I'm gonna call them attacks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just things that were trying to destroy your dream, so to speak, and turn you from what you were doing. So looking back now, when you're talking to the person that's considering getting into the fashion industry, what would you tell a person to look for, or how would you tell them to keep pushing regardless?
My number one thing I like to tell people is this is a business and treat it as such. And if you want to keep going, you're going to hear more no's. It's 75% BS, 25% truth.
BS.
So, yes, I didn't want to say that, Pastor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying the initials.
Thank you.
Which means barbecue sausage.
There you go. There you go.
Basically.
So I like to tell people, first thing in order to pursue this is treat it as a business. Understand that no is not the end of the world. That's just a part of the industry. And then find your rhythm in what you do.
Yeah.
Because people, especially nowadays in the age of social media, everybody's jumping on this bandwagon because it looks like, oh, you can be a celebrity, or oh, you can be fabulous, or oh, I can get free clothes out of people.
Yeah.
Realize that it's not even that.
Yeah.
And I tell people it's nothing like that. It's beautiful, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you have to always at least be 3 days ahead of yourself when you're working.
So you're sitting next to a professional makeup artist.
Yes.
So you work with those quite a bit in your industry. So give her some direction, or what would you tell her to keep going in that? Because I know you don't necessarily deal as a makeup artist, but because you have to deal with them, what do you suggest they do in this world?
The one thing I do tell makeup artists that do want to break into the business, you definitely want to make your money, but get on projects. Sometimes the projects, they might not pay.
Right.
But do as many. I always tell makeup artists and hairstylists, a lot of times you're starting out, do as many fashion shows as you can, the good ones, because as a makeup artist, you'll learn technique.
Yeah.
You get speed, because there's nothing worse than watching a makeup artist do a face for 2 hours.
Yes.
No, for
I've
sure.
done that
You'll
before, seen it.
you'll learn different types of techniques on makeup, because and it'll teach you certain things, like as an artist, if you're backstage, you'll have different shades of women.
Yeah.
So it'll teach you custom blending techniques, because if you're just a salon artist and you're used to dealing with one type of woman, that's all you'll know. And you have to learn different looks. Like I tell makeup artists, y'all are getting stuck in this $40 face, because you're not trying to elevate your brand. You're not trying to you don't know anything. Like, when I look at makeup artists, especially my makeup artists of color, if I mention Pat McGrath and they don't know who that is, I'm looking at them like, do you know who that is? That's like the world's richest makeup artist.
No, for sure.
Yeah. She's been a billionaire before Kylie Jenner.
Yeah. She's amazing.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear. So, Chyna, what do you think about that?
I think that's very true. I think when I was first starting out, I did a lot of free makeup. It didn't even... I think that's when I knew I loved makeup, when I could do it without getting paid and still felt good about it.
Yes.
I was always doing things with my mom and just being exposed to a lot of different things. So I think that's very true. Just going and getting out there, getting experience, learning from different people, and really learning how to blend. Them different complexions and stuff, knowing how to mix colors, it's very, very real. You gotta know the different colors and all that, because everybody is different. And I had to learn too, not everybody wants the same face. Everybody is different and has their own preferences, and you have to learn how to accommodate to your client and what they want. So yeah.
And every now and then I still do things at like you say, for free, because I love what I do.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I even tell people, if I had like millions of dollars, I would probably just do all this for free, because now I can just do it.
Yeah.
And so, but no, you're right. Like, makeup artists, those are key. That's a key person at a show. They can make or break a show with the right or wrong makeup.
Very true.
Yeah.
And hairstylists, I feel.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Totally.
All glam.
So what has been in your, how many years now of doing this? How many years has it been?
From behind the scenes, 26 years.
Wow.
Yes.
That is
26.
so...
I ain't even 26.
Congratulations, Willie. That's so
26.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So in the 26 years, I know there've been a lot of positives, and we salute the positives. But what has been that one show or that one experience where you were like, Lord, I don't never want to do that again?
Oh man, it's been quite a few.
Okay.
I've had a lot. I ain't doing this no more. Oh my God, I'm gonna go get a job. I'm gonna go back to the mall.
That's
He said I'm about to go work at the mall again.
It was one show one year. I'm not gonna call no names.
Okay, yeah, we didn't
Don't
have
do
to call
that. Yeah,
names.
don't blurt them out.
Yeah, don't call Linda or Sheila or Kelly
Right?
Okay.
or Marilyn or none of that.
Don't do it like that.
I was working. We were doing a runway show.
Okay.
And the girl, she was like the head executive producer. She booked a venue. Didn't want to tell no one about it. We asked her. I even asked her, "Hey, let's see the venue."
Okay.
And my biggest thing, for some reason, as a producer, people love to book me, but
micromanage.
and that is my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, I'm that person. He had to get on me too. But keep going.
I did. I was like, quick.
Self-awareness.
Don't send me no more spreadsheets. And what she do? Send me no spreadsheets.
I already know.
But keep going.
So she liked to overly control everything and micromanage. And I'm like, let me see the venue.
You're not talking about me though.
Right, no.
So she wouldn't let us see the venue. Because if I would have known where it was, I would have told her logistically what cannot happen.
Okay.
So it was one of them shows that anything can happen. So, it was a designer. He was working on a show. He was working on some production outside of what we were doing. And so he wanted to promote his production. It was almost like a stage play.
Okay.
And we told him, oh, absolutely, you can do it. Well, it was called we had the tour of the continents, because it was like back then I was just overly creative with my fashion shows.
Okay.
So the day of the show, we get there. It was a sushi restaurant.
Okay.
Now we get there. We couldn't get in. The owner would not let us in until the restaurant shut down.
And runway.
What?
Yeah, the owner wouldn't let us in until the restaurant pretty much
Why
closed.
is this at a restaurant, period?
Okay.
I don't know.
Keep going.
It was a cool look, but yeah, the he wouldn't let us in until like either close to close or medium time. We got there like I think 3 or 4 that afternoon. Well, the restaurant closed at 10.
Oh.
No way.
So they let us in the other room. We kind of started prepping because it was the area where they didn't mind us being.
This is a midnight fashion show or something?
It did start at midnight.
Okay.
Ain't no way.
So, okay, that was one thing. We do the walkthrough, which we really couldn't do because it was still because he would not, be like his customers that he didn't want to make them leave. And I was like, why didn't you try to get the venue for the whole day? Well, she was cheap, trying to save money. That's another thing. If you want to do a production or an event, do not be cheap because you sacrifice the quality of your event trying to put $1 in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that. So,
Good.
Anyway, back to we had the show. We were trying to get the show going. Then lo and behold, all the mics go out. And so the designer who was opening the show, his part was Africa. He went up to the head producer and said, if I can't, I'm not doing the show tonight. I'm just gonna pull because these mics aren't working. Now, she came up to me frantic, said, Willie, he's threatening to pull out the show. And so, you know me, of course I'm professional, but I'm still part of Oak Cliff, South Dallas.
Yeah, you still got some hooderation.
So the first thing I said was, oh, okay, well shoot, let's switch him on out then. Let's get him on out that back door. We can go. No, talk to him. So I went up there to talk to him. Now, the restaurant was no bigger than the living room downstairs.
Okay, then.
It was like the whole bottom floor.
Okay.
So you didn't need a mic. You did not need a mic.
Right.
So we let him get on stage. He did his whole production, his whole intro for his play, promoted and everything. And he comes off stage. Now, mind you, we started the show at 12. It was like midnight. Because not only was the venue small, but they oversold it. So like 300 or 400 people showed up to that little venue.
Oh, my Lord.
No way.
Yes way. And so right when he got done talking about his play and stuff, as soon as they walk off and we're getting ready to start the music starts. And we were already late. Everything was messing up. And we were working on the next scene, which was like an Antarctica scene. So they're still trying to do the girls' makeup to look like to have that look.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going to come on until after his segment. So literally, as soon as the first model walked up, got ready to walk on stage, he grabbed her by the arm and said, I'm not doing this. Take my clothes off.
No.
And I'm like, what?
In some way. He just wanted to be dramatic.
No. He said, I just don't want to do this. I'm not taking my dresses off now.
No.
So we are taking girls out of dresses as fast as we can. I told her not to let him do it, but don't nobody be listening to me. I don't know. I ain't never done this before.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
So it threw everything off. And I literally was mad. I'm not going to lie, I snapped. I was ready to throw hands.
Yeah. Because that's one of those.
Stuff up.
I see these praying hands now. Back then, these used to be burying hands.
Yeah.
So I was ready.
That's funny.
And so we finally got the show going. It was almost like 1-some in the morning.
Oh my.
And the next day, I just don't even know. I can't even do this. That was so embarrassing. And by then, my name was growing in the city for doing events and fashion shows and like parties and events. And so I was just, it was like really, that was traumatic.
Wow.
To this day, if I see his name on a flyer, my cousin tagged me in one of his things one time. I untagged myself and didn't care. I was like, please don't tag me in this.
Yeah. Man, that is so crazy.
Yes. And she realized she should have just let us know, because I was like, you doing it at the sushi restaurant is too little. Make sure the guy let us get in at this time so we can get everything set up. So.
Oh my goodness. Chyna, what would you have done in that situation?
I would have been like Willie trying to throw some hands. Honestly. Back then, you know.
Oh my goodness.
I was in my 20s too, so I didn't, you know.
I'm 24.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I'm 24.
So in that kind of situation, you had to learn from that. That
Yes.
made you think through a process of, okay, from now on, when I say somebody does not need to be a part of something, that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm asking, like, what,
Yeah.
when you came away from that and you had to evaluate, what were your thoughts?
Be a little more aggressive when you're working with people to make sure that you are getting your respect. Because had I been a little more aggressive, I think she would have let me see the venue and I could have told her what happened. And then also, you know, be aggressive and confident in who you are, because I was aggressive, but I wasn't confident in myself, I don't think, because if that was the case, I could have been like, hey, I'm the show producer. I need to see this place because I need to know what's going on, because I'm the one sending them all.
Yeah.
You just showed up and rented the space. I'm the one that's got to do everything.
Yeah.
So just basically that. So now when people are telling me where they want to go or what they want to do, I was like, can we do a walkthrough? Oh, well, now you'll like it. I need to do a walkthrough.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm quick to be like, if I don't like a venue, I'm like, no, this is not gonna work.
Yeah, because you have to see it, feel it, and it's your production and your name is on the line.
Right.
And I'll even say, for me, this is just speaking on the person that brings a person like you in. Usually when someone like myself say, because, you know, Willie and I have done work together, and I'll even say for me, I think it's just because we don't actually know what all you know. It's just that fear. And I'm not even gonna say fear. I think just in the past, whenever we've hired people to take on your kinds of responsibilities, we end up doing a lot of the work.
Right.
So we just have that same mindset that whoever it is, be a producer, that you still need our assistance. But we did find that he has it together. He knows what he's doing. He knew exactly what he wanted done. Again, that was just us having to release the control, so to speak, because like I said, in the past, when we worked with people, not necessarily a fashion show producer, but when you bring someone in, you usually still take on a lot of the responsibility. So that's just something I had to learn, that you really do have it.
No, I understand. And the thing is, too, with productions, they can either go really, really good or they can be really bad.
Yeah.
And you have to, you know, and it's everybody's baby.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your event is your baby.
Yeah.
Me producing the show is my baby.
Yeah.
So we have to come, you know, bring it to a good common ground where we can all be mutually respected and understand each other's positions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
No, that's really good. So, Chyna, what would you want to ask Willie before we move on to something
I
else?
want to know what your favorite show was, since you said the worst.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now, I've had a lot of favorite shows.
Yeah.
One of my favorite productions that I used to do years ago, it was called Design and Dine. We used to do it at the BMW dealership in Plano. So I would have brands, and then it would be like this big taste in all these restaurants, and we would just have this huge production. It was just amazing. CBS was a sponsor, BMW was a sponsor.
Awesome.
And so that was truly like my soul production.
Gotcha. That sounds like
And that was even before I had the
experience.
name J3 Productions.
Gotcha. Yeah, so
Okay.
tell us about J3 Productions. I don't think we even got
Yeah.
to that.
He hadn't opened that door.
My name is Willie Johnson III. So I said J3 because, you know, my mom, she was like, you ain't gonna get no Hollywood name and change your name. I said, no, mother, but, you know, don't nobody really want to work with nobody named Willie Johnson III in the fashion entertainment world.
That's hilarious.
That don't even sound. That's country.
Willie Johnson.
Willie Johnson. That's
I love it. It
boy.
sounds like a radio DJ.
And then so I said, I'm gonna be J3. That's what J3 came.
Okay, then.
Oh, I love it. So J3 Productions, tell us what J3 Productions actually is.
J3 Productions is a full-service model management talent company. We produce I produce runway shows. I do teach male and female runway. I still do some wardrobe styling, not as much as I used to. And then I specialize in finding the diamond in the rough and making he or she shine.
Okay.
Well, that's wonderful. And you've done that for how long?
I've been developing talent since '98.
Okay.
But the J3 name and the me doing business and everything that came in 2017.
Okay.
Got you.
So,
So who have been some of your biggest clients that you can remember?
oh man, who has been a big client? You know, the CBS BMW.
Yeah.
Lisa Perry is a very big client. As a wardrobe stylist, I have a very well-known opera singer that I style. His name is John Holiday.
Oh, hey,
He's
John
huge
Holiday.
all over the world.
Hey,
He's well renowned. Been on The Voice and
That's
everything.
wonderful.
Who else? One of my other big clients is Lee Antoinette.
Okay.
It's one of my big favorite clients.
Yeah.
Shout out Kim O.
Hey, Kimmo. Hey, Kimmo.
Hey, Kimmo.
We know Kimmo.
Yeah, she's a very great client.
That's
I love
wonderful.
working with her.
So with working with those people, what have you learned in the sense of how to deal with different clients?
You know, you just have to realize that everybody wants what they want.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to take more of them and implement a little bit of you a little at a time, to where they can honestly see, okay, yeah, you do know exactly what we're doing. So that's the one thing I've learned. You know, some clients are very some of them want what they want. They're very type A personality. Then some of them are very relaxed.
Got it.
You know, so it's just different levels
Which
of people.
one you like better?
You know, I actually like the type A client.
Really?
Yes, the reason why it sounds crazy. I like a chill client because, you know, sometimes it can be too much.
Yeah.
But like if a client is kind of type A and I know they want what they want, it makes me go back to setting my own standard again. Is because that's my challenge. Is okay. You want what you want. You type A. I'm going to over deliver everything to where you will be like, okay, I'm not letting nobody else touch my stuff but you.
Got it.
I love it.
So you know.
Okay, Miriam.
Well, I need some water.
Yeah.
So then,
Okay then.
well, Willie,
I'm having fun. What else we gonna talk about?
this has been so wonderful having you on here. So what we do is when we come to a close, we start asking the person
What they okay with.
Yes, what are you okay with? So, what are you okay with, Chyna?
I am okay with doing what I love and being okay with if I want to do it for free, I can, and if I don't, I don't, and you gonna pay me.
Well,
Okay.
I'm okay with relinquishing control.
There you go.
That's what I'm okay with.
Pass
'Cause
it on over.
I had to give it to Willie.
Pass it on over.
Okay, go ahead. What are you okay with, Willie?
I am okay with not knowing everything.
That's good.
Being a student teacher.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's good
That's what
wisdom.
I'm okay.
Love that.
So we've had a phenomenal
We done
time.
already?
That's it.
I thought we was gonna talk about my. I was not just. You told me to when I worked at Red Lobster to talk about my.
You didn't bring that up.
I did work at Red Lobster. I ain't
You
gonna lie
didn't bring
to you.
that up,
That's
though.
16 making
hilarious.
$4.25
He said,
an hour. I
I
was
real
balling in
deep. I
1991.
want to go real deep.
He said I needed to talk about Red Lobster.
That's hilarious. I
This is
love
fun.
it. Yay, I'm so glad you came on the show, Willie.
I'm so glad y'all had me. Oh my God.
Yeah, this
And
was
we're so
great.
proud of you.
I'm so proud
You're doing
of y'all.
some great things.
Yes.
Thanks, y'all.
So how we end, we say okay then body.
Well, first, make sure y'all liking and
Well, I was gonna
subscribing
go there,
and
too.
commenting
Okay.
before we go to the okay then body. We gotta make sure y'all is subscribing. Make sure y'all tune in every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Okay, all the things. So let us know.
Subscribe, watch, listen,
All
share.
that.
All the things.
And then tell us also what you enjoyed about Willie today, what you learned from him.
Yes.
And if you have any questions, put them in the comments so we can ask him again and let him kind of answer you guys on some of the things that you may have wanted to know more about with Willie. So we're about to left. So how we do this, Willie? You know how this goes. Okay, then by then.
Okay.
You ready?
Tell me how we gonna do it.
We say okay, then by then together. You ready?
Okay then,
body.
body.
Let's start over. Let's redo that. Can you take another picture? No.
One more time.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Body.